YouTube, it's me Tara, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all well and you've had a good week. I'm just going to tell you that I'm going to apologise for my vlogs just being a little bit like everywhere and not being as regular as I'd want them to be. Amelia's obviously coming up for a while and I've been arranging her birthday and my presents, and I've had so much in between, so I've just been really busy to do my vlogs. But as you can tell by my location, I don't normally film here because I'm at my dad's for 2 weeks, having a nice relaxing holiday. So hopefully I can get some vlogs on I'm up here, because I've got some ideas of what videos I want to do, and maybe I might do some day-to-day vlogs up here. Might be a bit fun to do something a bit different. I still want to do a Q&A, so if you guys have got any questions, please post them on my Instagram, my Facebook, email me, comment below, let me know if you want me to do a question. It could be any question about anything, not just about, you know, pregnancy or being a mum, about just general stuff. If you want to get to know me a bit better, I'm absolutely happy to do that, so just get commenting below, or my Facebook or my Instagram. Today I thought I would do a vlog on my labour birth story, really, because it's almost been a year now since having Amelia, and it was really hard for me to talk about because it was a really emotional time, and I thought I would do this video just to show to people that things can get taken away from you very quickly. So just don't have your heart set on something, because, you know, if you're in a situation when you need to be wanted, that won't happen. I wanted to have a birth pool labour with Amelia, but I didn't end up having that because I had complications. I had to be wanted through my labour, so it kind of hurt me even more because I didn't get what I wanted. But I just want people to be more aware of what can happen, and don't have a plan. Definitely have a plan, but I didn't have your heart set on something, because it can just be taken away from you and you'll get more hurt if you are in that situation. Amelia's original due date was the 9th of June and she came to end up 10 days early, so she was born on the 30th of May. I started going into labour with her on the 28th of May at 5 o'clock in the morning, so I was in labour for 2 days with Amelia. Basically what happened was, on the 28th of May at 5 o'clock in the morning, I started getting really bad stabbing pains in my back, and it woke me up. So I was like, oh God, what the hell is this? And I didn't know whether it was my body preparing for labour, but I kind of ignored it, because when I woke up in the morning, I didn't seem to have it anymore. So lucky enough, I had my 38-week checkup that day, so I went along to that. I think it was like 10 o'clock in the morning. Walked there, because it's 10 minutes up the road. Walked there, went to midwife. They checked me, obviously her heart and stuff like that, and they checked the position and they said she's very low. Would be surprised if you make it to 40 weeks. And then I had mentioned to her that I'd had these pains in my back, and she said, oh, it sounds like Braxton Hicks contractions. But again, you could be in early stages of labour. Being on how low she is, you probably are, but we can't really tell. But if you get any more, or they become regular, sorry, that noise is the turtles, then call the midwife, well, call your maternity department. I was like, okay. So I went home, into bed, because it was really early in the morning and I was tired, because I'd woken up with these really bad pains. So I went home, went to bed. As I was getting into bed, these pains started in my back again, and they were really strong, and I had to breathe through them. And obviously by the time I was gasping, it woke up Amelia's dad, and Amelia's dad was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I'm getting really bad stabbing pains in my back, I think I'm in early labour. And he was like, really? And I was like, yes. And he was like, they don't look good, because I was literally like breathing through them and they were really painful, and I just thought, well, this must be the early stages of labour, but I didn't know if I was actually going into labour. So I eventually went back to sleep, woke up, had a shower, got myself ready, went and got my nails done, and again I was sitting in the chair and my back was just like this. It was just going and I had to breathe through it, and it was making me feel sick and really hot. So I got my mum to get me some water, and I was just gulping that down because I was just feeling so like nausea and really, really horrible. Like these pains were just unbearable. And then they went again. I went to Sainsbury's, got some dinner, had my dinner, I went to bed, and again, like that night, they didn't really affect me. They were coming and going, but they didn't really affect me to the fact that I felt like I had to take any painkillers or anything like that. So that was all good. I woke up in early hours in the morning again in chronic pain, and I was like, these are getting stronger, definitely getting stronger. I woke up, had a bath to just cool it down, went back to sleep, woke up probably about 9 o'clock in chronic pain to the fact that I was grabbing hold of the wardrobe. I was just like screaming in pain. It was really, really bad. And Amelia's dad was in the meantime trying to get ready for work. He was getting in the shower. My sister come out of her room and she was like, you seem like you're in so much pain. And I was like, I am. She was like, do you think you're in labour? I said, yes, I definitely think I'm in labour. And I was throwing up really bad at this point as well. It was just awful. I had to have isolines and water just to keep something in my system because I was getting more weaker and more tired because I hadn't really slept through the last month of my pregnancy because I had really bad heartburn and indigestion to the fact that it was making me feel sick and I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, it was awful. So these contractions were coming more regular. They weren't really easing off. I think, Amelia's dad had come out of the shower and he had said to me, what should I do? And I was like, well, you have to call our manager because we both work for the same place and say that, I think Tara's in early labour, I can't come to work, I'm going to have to be on call for her. So he called her and she was like, have you called the maternity ward? And I was like, no. And she said, are you going to? And I was like, well, I just think it's best for me to stay at home as long as I can because I don't know what this is. And she was like, I think you should call up the maternity ward. I called them up and I said, come in, we'll assess you and see how far dilated you are. I was like, okay, so I've called my manager back and my manager has said to me, yeah, okay, I'm up the road, I can come take you if you want to. And I was like, okay, that's brilliant. So she come, I'd taken all our bags with us, like Amelia's bag and my bag, just in case that I was in active labour and we were going to stay there. I got there, they checked me over, and she said to me that obviously I was contracting, but they weren't regular. She checked if I was dilated. I was 1 centimetre dilated at this point, and this was probably about 12 o'clock in the afternoon, Friday, the 29th. And she said they're not regular, so you're best off just going home because this could take a long time or it might just stop all completely. Sometimes that's the case, and when she said that to me, I just thought like, oh, my heart's breaking because I'm in labour now, and I'm obviously in early labour, and I just want her to come now. So go home, take paracetamol, have a hot bath, try and eat little but often, because obviously I was so dehydrated because I was being so sick, and the doctor wanted to keep me in because he said, because she can't keep nothing down, I think we're better off monitoring her. The midwife said, but this could be a long process and it might just stop, so she's better off going home, and if anything else happens, come back. I went home, I had a hot bath, I had some paracetamol, tried to go to sleep with these contractions. I managed to probably get about 2 hours sleep. When I woke up, I went to the toilet and I had like a brown show. Because they had given me a sweep at the hospital. I forgot to say they gave me a sweep in the hospital, and that seemed to like make something happen more. I was getting more chronic pains after that as well. And I'd woken up, had a bath, had more paracetamol when I'd woken up to try and ease it off. By this point, I was holding onto my bed and I was just on all fours, and I was just like, oh my god, I was literally breathing through the contractions. It was really, really horrible. I couldn't eat. I tried to eat that night. I just felt like I was riddled in pain. So when you're in pain, you don't want to eat, and obviously I was being so ill, so I couldn't eat. It got to about, I think, 1:30 in the morning, and I said to Amelia's dad, I was like, I can't do this no more. I can't take this pain. I need to go back in. I called them up and said, I've had more show. These contractions are coming pretty much like every 10 minutes, and they're not easing off. And she was like, okay, we'll come in, we'll reassess you. I went back into the ward. They put me into like a delivery suite. They checked her heart. They checked my blood pressure and stuff like that. And they said, you're not dilating enough to stay in here. You're not in active labour. You have to just be patient. Go home, have a bath, take paracetamol, and trust me, that don't work. That does not put your mind at ease. 1 and 2, paracetamol does nothing for labour pains, and no does a bath. The bath might ease it for a little while, but no, nothing goes to make that pain go away. So it must have been about 2:30. I'd got my mum to come get me and Amelia's dad, and we went back home with our bags, very, very disappointed because I was like, I'm in so much pain. I went home and literally just covered the bed in pillows, like cushions from the sofa, to plant myself up so I just could get some sleep, and I managed to. But if you cushion yourself when you're in labour as much as you possibly can, it actually does work. It eases it a little bit, but not too much. Managed to go to sleep until probably about, I think, 4:30, 5 o'clock. Woke up again and the pains were getting stronger, but I had to just breathe through it. I was laying down, breathing through it, and thought, I'm not even going back to the hospital because I keep on going back, forwards, and it's tiring, 1 and 2, it's exhausting, and it's just pointless. Like, when you're in that much early in labour, all they're going to keep on doing is send you home. So I just waited out, basically. Woke up, I think, about 7:30, got in the bath because I was in pain again. I got in the bath, took some paracetamol. I thought, okay, it's what I have to just keep on doing it. Managed to go back to sleep until about, I think, 11. And by this point, I'd woken up and my trousers were really, 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 really wet. So I went to the toilet and I was like, oh, I'm really wet. And I went to the toilet and there was just blood. There was just blood everywhere. And my mum was in the shower at this point, and I said to my mum, I was like, it's normal. And she was like, no. And literally it was just gushing out of me. Like, I know this is too much information, but this is like a labour and delivery story, so it's going to be. And she was like, I think you better call up the department and tell them that, you're bleeding, this isn't normal. And obviously it looks like your waters are broken as well. So I called up and said, I think my waters are broken, plus I'm bleeding loads. And they were like, well, we won't assess, we won't say you're in active labour until you're 3 or 4 centimetres dilated, but because you're bleeding, come in. So I come in, but I had to wait at least 15 minutes before I could move off the toilet because my leg, literally my whole area down here was contracting. Literally, it was so painful. I couldn't move. I had to get dressed on the toilet seat, which was really awkward and hard. But that was the only way I felt comfortable, and I couldn't move because I was chronic pain. So when I did manage to go, I was in the car and I was like, Mum, they're going to send me home, And she was like, stop being so negative, they won't, because you're bleeding, they will not send you home. And I was like, they will, they'll send me home, And I remember, I think, going, getting through the lift of the door and literally grabbing the door and screaming because the pains were getting more and more. Went in and I had a sentry pad on. And the midwife said, oh, you're back, because it was the midwife that I'd seen me the day before. She was like, oh, you're back? And I said, yeah. And I said, I'm bleeding. And she was like, how much? And she was like, can you show me the pad? So I showed her the pad, and she was getting me ready to go into the delivery suite where the birthing pool and stuff was. And then she saw the blood and she was like, no, you have to go into a labour ward or something like that. And the minute I got there, they were like, you're going to have to be nil by mouth. And I was like, oh, why? And they were like, well, we have to monitor you now. So they put a drip in my arm. They put a drip in my arm. I can't even remember what else they'd done. But, and they put this thing on my stomach to obviously monitor her heart, which her heart was okay. She wasn't affected by the fact that I was bleeding, which I was a little bit more relieved about. So she wasn't in any danger or any harm. But they just wanted to make sure that I was hooked up for my own benefit because I was bleeding and I started hemorrhaging before obviously she came, which was very, very dangerous for me. They didn't actually examine me for ages when I got in there, which was really weird. Actually, no, they checked, and they said, oh, you're 3 or 4 centimetres dilated. That was it. They said, you're 3 or 4 centimetres dilated. So, yeah, you are in the stages of, like, labour now. So, yeah, they examined me and obviously checked my bladder and stuff like that to make sure it wasn't full. And I just remember feeling like I needed to push, like, the whole time. I was like, I need to push. I like, no, you don't, no, you don't, no, you don't. I was like, yes, I do. I had to keep on getting off the bed and walking around, and I know that I was bleeding. There was, like, trails of blood all around. It was pretty horrific, to be honest with you. But I just didn't care. I was in so much pain. I was walking around with nothing on my bottom half, which is very much unlike me. I'm very insecure, but I just didn't care. Walking around, saying, I need to push, I need to go to the toilet, I need to go to the toilet. Like, you can't go to the toilet, can't let you go to the toilet. I was like, I need to go to the toilet. Like, your bladder's not full, you're fine. I was like, no, I'm not. And they're like, I think we have to examine you again. By the time she examined me, she was like, you're 7/8, but closer to 8, so you're pretty much almost there. So that happened really quickly. But because I started bleeding, and they said apparently a baby automatically sort of knows that they need to come out quicker. So they said, you know, it's going to be over soon, you're going to have your baby soon. And I was like, yes, like, you know, they were listening to me finally, but no one really coached me through it, to be honest with you. Like, I thought that, like, you know, the baby's coming, blah, 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 but I kind of done it on my own, which wasn't as supportive as I would want, which I thought it would be, to be honest with you, at the hospital I was at. And I got off the bed again, then I got on the bed, I got off the bed, on the bed, and then I think the monitor just wasn't getting a heartbeat properly because I was moving around so much that they had to attach the heart monitor to the head, I think, so I had to be very, very careful when I was moving around. And then I remember getting on all fours, thinking, this is it now, because I could feel the pressure, and I started pushing, and I feel like, to be honest with you, the pushing bit didn't hurt as much as the contractions, because when I was contracting, she was moving, she was kicking, and it was really painful because I was going through the contraction and then she was kicking, and the kicks when you're in labour are really painful because obviously they're trying to move down, so that it is a lot more, it's just really, really uncomfortable. So that part for me was the most painful part. I think her pushing her out wasn't uncomfortable, wasn't painful. A lot of people say it wasn't for me. And then my little girl was born at 2:50 on the 30th of May. So I went in at, I think I got in at 11:30, and she was born at 2:50 that afternoon. It was quite quick from once to once. I was in active labour. I had her pretty quickly, but that was because obviously I started to bleed, I started to hemorrhage, and they said the reason why was because her cord was coming away. Her cord was so thin, it was kind of breaking away from the placenta. So obviously that's what caused the bleeds in the first place. So they got her out, and then I remember them just pushing a button straight away. From the minute she come out, they just pushed the button, and I was like so scared. I was like, what's going on? And then I just started gushing with blood. Like, there was just blood everywhere. I've never seen so much blood. It was like a murder scene. There was blood everywhere. I started to hemorrhage, and they were worrying because my placenta wasn't coming out, just was not coming out. And it took, I think it was 20 minutes after, and they said, you know, look, it's been 20 minutes and your placenta's still not coming out. We're going to have to take you into theatre if it hasn't come out in the next 10 minutes. I was like, okay, like, I didn't know if my baby was a girl or a boy, or she was okay, because she got taken away straight away. I didn't get to hold her straight away, which was really heartbreaking. I think this is why I found it so hard to talk about it until now, because, you know, that skin-to-skin contact straight away, that's what I wanted on my chest, and I just wanted to know that I was okay and she was okay, and that got taken away. And I didn't know her gender before she was born. I didn't know if she was a girl or a boy straight away, and they were just worried about me because I was bleeding so much and they couldn't stop it, and obviously the placenta wasn't coming out. and they had to reach in the end and give me the gas and air, which I didn't want during my labour, because I took one puff of it, it hurt my throat, and I was like, no, I can't have that. But they were like, with this, you need to take the gas and air. I took it and just pushed as hard as I possibly could. I was like, I'm not going to fit to get this taken out. So I pushed. It's like I was pushing her out, but didn't even have to push that hard to get her out. But this placenta just wasn't budging. I think where her placenta was coming away, like from her cord was coming away from the placenta, it was just very ragged. It was very, it started to break inside me. So that was just not good at all. Eventually they got the placenta out. They had to put a can of one of the wee things in. Excuse me, I don't know what that's called. Well, I do know what it's called, but I can't pronounce what it's called. And they put a lava drip on me to get fluids in me. I lost, I think, a lot of blood. I lost a lot of blood. And then eventually I found out my little girl was a girl, which was so exciting, and she was okay, and I was so relieved that she was okay. I'm trying to think if I've missed anything out. I'm hoping I haven't. There is going to be 2 parts of this story, because from that minute until I left the hospital, things were up and down for both of us, and I'll obviously explain in another video, because this video is quite long as it is, and I don't want to do something that's really long. So this will be a part 2 of after, up to when we left, because that's more of awareness of what can happen, and to definitely make sure that you're on the ball and that you're pushing it, and you're like, you know what, I know, you know, I'm a first time mum, but they make you feel like you know nothing, and it's really horrible. And they're like, you know, you're a first time mum, you don't know what you're talking about. In other words, they don't say it like that, but they say, you know, you're a first time mum, you're panicking, you're worrying for no reason. But that's a completely different story. But that's my birth and my delivery story. I don't think I've missed anything out. Like, I don't remember obviously everything, because some of it I was just in so much pain. And I will do the after bit from after having her up to when we left, because we were in there 10 days. So I will let you know what happened after. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and it's going to help people know what can happen very quickly in labour, and what can get taken out of control. And I hope you're all well, and give it a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe down below because it's free, and share. Thank you guys, much love, bye.